All right, I'm going to be sharing my screen. We are going to get started. Well, good afternoon. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to this workshop. My name is Izzy Atkinson. I am the founder of the BodyLove Soul Method, and today this is going to be the Empower Your Body workshop. We have a lot to dive into in a short amount of time, so I'm really excited to get started. A brief introduction about me. I'm the creator of the BodyLove Soul Method, which is a 10-week coaching program that works with women to really help them heal their negative relationship with their body image as well as with food. So it really helps women get out of that diet culture mindset and really pivot to a place of rediscovering their self-worth, feeling empowered, feeling really good in their skin, and really living in their truth. I'm also the founder of the Wildflower Project, which is an initiative based in Boston, which hosts pre-COVID monthly workshops to bring people together in a community setting to talk about different mental health topics. And lastly, I'm a Barry's bootcamp instructor, and I'm also a personal trainer. A quick minute about my story is that I got involved in the work that I'm doing now because from a really young age, I struggled severely with body dysmorphia and disordered eating. And throughout my healing process and throughout my, really self-discovery journey, I started to really discover why we have these issues, why body image is so embedded in our society, why diet culture is so strong in the world we live in, and really helping women get out of that place that I used to feel so stuck and so suffocated in, and to living in a place of freedom and empowerment and joy and happiness, and body love. So really excited for this workshop. So a little bit about me. All right, so let's go into appearance ideal. So I'm just going to move us a little bit from the screen so that I can see. Okay, perfect. Great. All right, I'm just going to move this out of the way here. Okay. All right, so appearance ideal. What is appearance ideal? So please utilize the chat while we talk about this. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on what appearance ideal is or could be. You can drop it in the chat. Just curious to see what our thoughts are before we dive into it. Any thoughts? Okay. Well, we'll get into this a little bit into the next slide. Appearance ideal. I want to make sure we can see okay here. Okay. So appearance ideal and thin ideal. Basically what these mean is that it's about achieving societal ideals. It's not realistic or healthy. This is pretty much what diet culture is. So when you open a magazine and every person you see in a magazine, has a six pack, they have no cellulite, they have big boobs, big butt, beautiful long hair. That is appearance ideal. Thin ideal correlates with appearance ideal in our society because it's really about this direct opposition of being fat in our society, or also having fat phobia. Fat phobia is basically defined that fat people are inferior, and it positions weight gain as a sign of moral failure and lack of control. It's linked to societal status. So again, we live in a world where appearance ideal and thin ideal, it's really elevated in our world. And so we're going to get into how that really has stemmed into why we struggle with body image. On the flip side of that, before we get into that, healthy ideal is the place we want to live in. It's really about health. It's about nourishment. It's about mindful movement. It's about functionality. So what does that mean? Moving so that, you're able to stay active as you age. It's about longevity. It's about fueling your body to feel good. And it's not focused on size. It's not focused on weight or the shape of your body. All right. So what does it cost you to achieve the appearance ideal? I would love for anyone to drop in the chat what it feels it's cost to achieve the appearance ideal. What do you feel it's costed you in your life to achieve certain appearance statuses, join certain diets, things like that? Any thoughts? Okay, so yo-yo dieting, right? That's probably not only cost, money for all the fad juice cleanses. Yep. And think about this. Not only has this costed you money, it's probably costed you sanity, time, memories, social events. There's so many things that it's cost us. I want us to go even further and think about this a little bit. Yeah, so much money. It's not just about diet. It's, you know, they saw in 2019 that more women elected to get this surgery that enhances their butt, the size of their butt, because, the Kardashian era, the big booty. And it's like this life or death surgery. It's actually so dangerous. They saw such a massive uptick in 2019 of women wanting to have the Kim Kardashian butt. And again, spending thousands upon thousands of dollars. So this is just about taking a moment to think to yourself, what have I actually invested in during the course of my life to change my body to fit the appearance ideal, to fit what society tells me to look like? So for me, I mean, I spent a dollar, tons of money on any kind of diet you can think of. There's the Botox, there's fillers, right? What it costs us to get our hair done, always buying trendy new outfits. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So it costs money, right? It's expensive to keep up with appearance ideal. So something to think about here is that your body is not a direct reflection of who you are. Remember that your body and how it looks does not reflect who you are at the core. It is not what defines you or should control you. All right. So transitioning into body love and why we're here. These are really the definitions that I think of when it comes to body love. Body love can have a variety of definitions. It can be a variety of things. For me, this is how it shows up in my life. So it's a two-part relationship for me. It's a part of body respect, having respect for my body. It's an act of defiance, and I'm challenging the social norm. So in the world we live in, we're seeing a trend now more about body inclusivity and body positivity, but until recently, this really wasn't a conversation piece, especially for women or people that identify as a female. And so really knowing that when you can be in a place of body love and body empowerment, you're actually challenging the social norm. Like you are living in an act of defiance against what you're told to do. It's like a marriage with yourself. You are choosing to show up for yourself every single day, even when the days are tough. That's super important to think about because, like any relationship we have, whether it's a friendship or an intimate relationship, someone you're married to, it is not always sunshine and flowers, right? Some days are super, super high, and other days they're super, super low. And we have those days with our relationship with ourself and with our body. But what happens is that we're so overwhelmed by messaging in the world about our bodies that when we have that bad day, it tends to make us go down this really dark spiral that it's not we either want to diet, we want to binge eat, we want to change something, we want to start bringing in a lot of negativity to our body. I want you to really think about the relationship with yourself, with your body. You're in a marriage with yourself. So on the days that they're off, on the days that it's down, you have to remind yourself of all the days that were good. Why you are in this relationship of having that positive, nourishing relationship with your body and using the tools that you may have used on days that felt really good to bring in on days that don't feel so good. So we have to change the expectation that self-love, self-care, body love, these are things that always feel good. They're like any relationship, right? There's always going to be peaks and valleys. Okay. So how can you bring in more body love to your life? There's a lot on the screen. I'm going to kind of read through all of them, but we'll talk about some of my favorites. So focusing on your internal self-worth. Basically, what this means for me is that it's very easy to be validated by someone saying to you, "Oh, you look great today. I love your outfit. You look beautiful," right? But can you focus on your internal self worth? That's all external. So, compliments, things about my appearance, someone telling me my body looks great. What can you do to focus on the inside that makes you feel good? Right? What is it on the inside that really makes you feel empowered and loving the skin you're in? You're funny, right? You're smart. Maybe you pick up this new hobby that makes you feel so proud. You could be an amazing artist, right? So, focusing on that internal self worth, those things that really make you feel good at the core. Self care and self nourishment. So, for me, it's about what does it make me, what defines self care and self nourishment that makes me feel good? So for someone, it could be going out with friends, it could be the face mask we see, things like that. But a lot of times, it's going to be things that are more intuitive to what you need. So for me, an act of self care is like every morning sitting in silence with my cup of coffee or going on a walk. That really nourishes me. That gives me energy back into my energy tank. Setting boundaries. So typically, a lot of my clients, especially what I see, is that this negative relationship they have with their body, part of it is because they don't have any boundaries in their life. They're only giving to others. And it produces a lot of anxiety, right? And it produces stress. And an easy controlling mechanism is to try to control our body and to fixate on that. Okay, everything else feels out of control. So I'm going to focus on this because I can control that. When we can set really healthy boundaries in our life, we feel a lot more empowered in our life and we feel like we can actually focus on ourselves more. So, boundaries, it's such a broad spectrum. It comes from your relationships, family members, to even I see all the time, we need to set better boundaries with work. So making sure you sign off at 5 o'clock so that you actually have that hour at night to do that thing that makes you feel good, right? Or not going online until 9 a.m. so that you can get that morning walk in or you can enjoy a breakfast in peace. The more that we forget to set the boundaries, the more they pile up, the more that anxiety, that stress comes in and it manifests in our body image. Affirmations. I'm sure a lot of us have heard about affirmations. They work for some they don't. It's a great way to start the day by saying something positive to yourself. I love them. Letting go of body rules. So, this is really about what are the rules that you feel confined by with your body and how can you break them? How can you redefine them or how can you let them go? So, for example, if I use myself, I'm a trainer, I work in fitness. I used to be a fitness competitor. So, I was the person that had the six pack, no body fat, all that stuff. As I got into fitness, I started to really heal my body image. And I had to break all of the rules I had with myself and with the world around me about my body. All the rules that were being told to me was I had to have a six pack, I couldn't have cellulite, smooth skin, all these ridiculous things. I had to redefine those rules. I can still work in fitness and have cellulite and have gained 10 pounds and be happier in my own skin, right? So it's about really redefining the rules that we feel that pressure and seeing what works for you. And what works for you isn't going to work for everyone else. And that's fine. Like, make your own rules. All right, eating to nourish. So I could do a whole other workshop about this topic in itself, but eat to nourish yourself. Don't eat the way the world tells you to. We are so individualized, and what works for me is not going to work for you. What works for you is not going to work for me. And so these diets we see, they're not about nourishing your body. It's about depleting your body. It's about draining your body. It produces more anxiety. It produces more stress. So think about food as something that fuels your body, that it's a cup of love, it's a bowl of love. What do you enjoy to put into your body? What gives you energy? What makes you feel good? Ditching the scale. Now, I don't have a whole lot to say about this besides the fact that ditch it. The scale, oh, It's such a toxic relationship for most of us. It's a number that's so irrelevant. And it's a form of self sabotage. You could wake up and feel amazing and then step on the scale, and all of a sudden you're having the worst week, right? Like I see so many of us laughing because it's so true. So you got to just throw out the scale. Got to go. It's not good. Living in your truth. That is a hard one. It kind of goes along with the internal self worth. This takes so much practice to do. It's an ongoing process with yourself. But when you can start being who you are and living as who you are, you don't care as much about what people think about how you look. Permission giving statements. So I love these because it's all about the inner relationship and dialogue we have with ourselves. So let's say I went to a wedding on the weekend. I lived it up. I had a bunch of drinks. I had all the food I wanted, whatever. And Monday comes around and I have a stacked work day, right? Maybe I'm not going to get a workout in. Maybe I didn't prioritize meals that were going to make me feel good that Monday. If all day you're obsessing in your head and saying to yourself, I did such a bad thing this weekend. I need to fix this. I need to work out. I need to do this. It's just that anxiety. And a lot of times that actually gets in our way from even doing anything. Permission giving statements changes the way you talk to yourself when you can say to yourself, I'm giving myself permission to take the day off. And it's not even just around our body, it could be around work. I'm giving myself permission to sign off at 5. I'm giving myself permission to take a vacation day. It's such a different way of talking to yourself. All of a sudden, I feel stronger. I feel more empowered when I say that. I feel like I'm making a decisive decision versus feeling like I'm trapped by my thoughts. A gratitude practice is great. Implementing gratitude into your life, reflecting on what makes you feel good. It's always a nice way to end the day. I do this almost every single night. It really just brings an alignment perspective, right? Especially when we're struggling with our body, realizing there's so many other things in life that probably make us feel really good. Stop comparing your body to others. Easier said than done, especially in a world of technology. But like I said, what works for you is not going to work for me. The beautiful thing about all of us is that we are all different. I think that's what makes the world go round. And so it's very hard to get trapped in the appearance ideal fixation. I need to look a certain way to be accepted. I need to look a certain way to be loved, but it's just so deeply untrue. And so having moments with yourself of realizing like I'm unique and different for a reason, right? I was born this way for a reason, to be different, to be myself. So to stop comparing yourself and know that also the person you might look up to or compare yourself to, who knows what they're going through, right? So there's just so much beyond what we see, and really being mindful that comparison is just it's a slippery slope to get down into. And then stop labeling ourselves as a size or body type. So this is perpetuated by society, diet culture, appearance ideal. It's all about, these sizes, the weight. Do you fit in this category? Do you fit in this category or this one? Again, with redefining your own rules about your body, this lines up with that exactly. Stop labeling yourself as needing to be a certain size or be a certain body type. Like when you start changing your dialogue and how you talk about your own body to yourself, you're going to start seeing that reflect in your life and even with others. So the second that I can start living in my truth about my body and say, I don't care what size I am, I love the skin I'm in, I'm happy with who I am, all of a sudden you're giving tons of people around you permission to do the same thing. So it's super, super powerful. I know I just sped through that. I'm trying to be mindful of time. Any questions so far? Any thoughts anyone wants to share before I keep kind of diving in? Anything that resonates? Anything at all? Of course, please drop it in the chat. I love to chat. So anything anyone wants to share, let me know. Yeah. And so the next slide, anyways, is sharing is caring. So I would love for us that's here in the workshop today to say something that you love about yourself. Share it with us in the group. Share, and it doesn't need to be about your appearance, right? It could be anything, but like, let's spread some love as we're talking about body love. Don't let it be uncomfortable. My ability to connect with people. I love that, Candace. Thank you. That's excellent. Such a strong thing. What else? Hannah loves that she's a good painter and has an artistic touch. Love that. Let's keep it going. All right, let's see. I love that I like to take on challenges and face my fears head on. Who else? All right. Well, these are great little kickoffs of what we love about ourselves. Yes, love being a volunteer, giving back, Michelle. That's super important. I love that. Deliberately set out to better myself. Amazing. Erin from Facebook Live said connecting with others. Yes. So this is just to be a reminder that we get so caught up in what we look like that it takes away from us remembering how amazing we are. All the gifts we have, all the things we do to give back to others, to ourselves, our talents, our passions. It is amazing, really, when you take a pause and think about how much the world we live in makes us forget those things. When I was in the root of my body dysmorphia, I feel like I lost years on my life, truly lost years on my life because it was all that I cared about. And so I love seeing this. Yes, Michelle, love that I'm friendly and caring, right? And the more of you that you share, this is a perfect example of permission giving. The more that a few of you are sharing in this group, the more of you feel permission that you can share about yourself, right? You got to give others that permission, give them that power to do it. So I love that. Love that. Please continue to share in the chat as we kind of wrap it up. And then just, yeah, I wanted to see like anyone's takeaways, any questions. We're kind of at the end of the PowerPoint. I love questions, love to chat back and forth. So if anyone has any, please let me know, drop it in the chat. Would love to hear your thoughts on kind of what we talked about today. Yes, Michelle, love that. Love that you are good-hearted. It's beautiful. So wonderful. Okay, so great questions here. All right, so Hannah asked, do you have any good template affirmations, somewhere for people to start? This is a great question. Affirmations can feel really inauthentic, especially at first. If it's, if you've never done them, you don't like them, could be a little uncomfortable. So a couple places I like to start. I actually, and I'll make sure that you get this information after the workshop. So two things I like to start with. I have a little book that I love. You can get this book anywhere. I'll show you in a second. This is a really great book because in terms of template affirmations, this is called the Little Book of Affirmations. It's literally tiny. And this book, as you can see, I had it right next to me. I have it on my desk every day. This has affirmations centered around all types of things. So it could be something about, I choose joyous and loving thoughts today. One is, I am confident in my ability to let go of neurotic thoughts. So like it's really unique in the sense of what kind of affirmations it gives you, but I love it because it does challenge kind of these typical affirmations we see online about, I love myself, I'm beautiful, which are super powerful, but there's other things about us that sometimes we need extra something from. So this is a great place to start, Hannah. I would also say, think about things for you that you struggle with, but you wish that you were in a different place with. So let's say if it's about your body, let's say you're struggling with your body image, you look in the mirror and you don't feel comfortable. I would challenge you to say, okay, what's an affirmation I could write down or say to myself that helps me feel a little less uncomfortable in the mirror? And that could be something like, I like my outfit today, right? And just saying that out loud to yourself. So it's not really maybe about the body. Maybe it's just about what you're wearing. You could say, I feel happy today, but look at yourself while you're doing that. So I'll also send a couple things, but I love to start here with this little book of affirmations. It is by Anam Thubten. Great place to start. Okay, let's see. Meg from Facebook Live asked, what are some suggestions that you have to encourage young girls to love themselves? This is really a great question, Meg. And it's a challenging one. I mean, I think that for younger girls right now, one of the biggest struggles we're seeing is social media. So thank God Instagram was not around when I was younger. But I think for younger girls, it's actually about having conversation about this. So I think when I was a teenager, and when I was younger, I didn't think anyone was talking about this. No one was talking about it. And I didn't want to talk to my mom about it, right? I think with younger girls, encouraging them to talk to their friends actually and say, have you ever struggled with this feeling? Sometimes I feel this way. A lot of times their friends are going to be like, oh my gosh, I feel that way too. And that instantly creates less shame and guilt about feeling that way. I also think with younger girls that the messaging needs to be around who you are versus your body. So we are living in a pivotal time of just so much change. And I think it's our responsibility to educate young women on focusing on who they are inside and how they can empower other women to do that too. So whether that be teaching younger women, how do they interact with other young girls? Is it just about their appearance, or is it actually about who they are inside? Letting them do things that might be unique, pursuing different passions. So I think that there's some different ways that we can encourage younger girls to get on the train of talking about these things. Young girls and teens who have been feeling isolated would love that input too. Yeah, this is this is something that's really relevant right now. It's actually been on my mind a lot. I think that we're struggling as a society to provide support for younger girls that are struggling with body image. I think that the most important thing is to encourage dialogue about this and make it relatable. So Tanya, I don't know if you've ever, experienced feelings yourself around body image that maybe these younger girls or teenagers that or could be your daughters are struggling with, and can you create a relatable interaction with them about it, and talk about why in society there is this stigma around our bodies, right? I think it's important to understand the why behind it, and I didn't know that until I got older. And so I think that that's a really important thing to talk about with teens as well in isolation. I also think that what comes with being in isolation and COVID is that mental health issues are elevated for everybody. So encouraging open dialogue about what are you struggling with right now and how can I support you through that? Alyssa asked, what are some tasks or activities that you recommend to start getting rid of the obsession of ideal appearance? Yeah, some tasks or activities. I would say that the first thing for me would be to sit down and say to myself, why why do I care so much about what people think about how I look? And why am I so fixated on changing my body? Because if you ask yourself that question, you get really honest. It might be uncomfortable, but typically the reason we a lot of times are seeking out this external validation or this change is because there's something inside of us that we're looking away from or that's causing us pain, right? So for me, my body dysmorphia was directly linked to super abusive relationships I had been in at a young age. And really my self-worth as a woman being defined by being in relationships with men that treated me poorly. And so it was a control thing for me. And so I think, Alyssa, if you're struggling with this, sitting down and saying, what is the main struggle right now? What's the driving force behind it? How can I challenge myself to get a little more comfortable in my own skin? For everyone, it can present differently. Sometimes it's working through some shame that we might have around our body. A lot of times the affirmations and a gratitude practice are a light, easy start to kind of unpacking these things. Again, the kind of permission giving statements saying like, I'm going to love my body today and I don't care if I'm wearing something that someone says I shouldn't wear. I don't care what the number on the scale is. So I think that those are some different things that you can start to implement. And just being mindful of what you're saying to yourself. If every day you wake up and you shame your body and you shame yourself, I challenge you to try to pivot the dialogue just a little bit. Even if it can't go from a place of negative and hateful to love, can it go from a place of negative and hateful to acceptance or being okay, right? That's such a better place to be in than on the opposite spectrum. Michelle said, I put on my mirror every day. I say I'm beautiful, and I say it to myself. I love that. So powerful to do, Michelle. So powerful. All right. Marty said, I volunteer with Girls on the Run, and is a very body positive organization that meets through schools. Elementary age are Girls on the Run, and middle school is called Heart and Soul. Yes, Marty, I've actually heard of a Girls on the Run. So I know Tanya asked a little bit about this with the teens, as well as Meg. Yeah, definitely look into these organizations. I love seeing this. I think it's so important because when I was in high school, this stuff did not exist. So really, really love to see it. So it's just a few minutes past 4:30. This was so great. I know it was kind of a lot of information in 30 minutes. But I was going to say, I'm going to share in the next slide. Of course, if there's any other questions. Oh, Tanya, yeah, I love Girls on the Run. Yeah, Girls on the Run's amazing. Local organizations. My last thought with younger girls is really limiting the social media intake. I know that's super hard, especially as teenagers, but keeping them aware that social media is just so unrealistic. It's not reality. And same with the celebrity obsession. But anyways, this was such a great conversation. I am so, so grateful to all of you that joined in today. Truly, this is something you took 30 minutes out of your week to hopefully take something back for yourself about feeling better about the body you're in, the skin you're in, and just who you are as a person. It's the greatest gift we can give to ourselves. And when we give it to ourselves, we give it to others. So that ripple effect is really powerful. I hope that you can take some of this with you. We will be emailing out this PowerPoint. So if you ever need a refresher, you just want to click through and be reminded of some of those ways to empower yourself and your body, you'll be able to access that. We'll send my contact information in case anyone wants to stay in touch. I love to keep in touch. And then if anyone's interested in coaching, I am taking on new clients. So yeah, this was wonderful. Truly. Thank you all so, so much for spending your Monday afternoon with me.